Hey, it's Mirna from Happiness Academy. Welcome to the Happiness Academy podcast, a place where you can discover practical, simple, yet effective tools from the science of positive psychology. You're at the right place if you're looking to live a life of well-being and joy, staying resilient when facing any challenges, and incorporating a sense of meaning in things you do. Ready? Let's dive in. Did you know that to achieve great results in practically any area of your life, there are 4 key aspects that you have to have on the day? We are exploring what are those aspects. It's the same aspects if we are talking about developing your business to the next level, if we are talking about getting really fit and advancing your health, if we're talking about learning the new skill. It's these 4 things that you need to have conquered and established in order to achieve the results. Are you ready? Ready to discover them today? And please do start by thinking, how can you leverage these more for even better results in your... The first aspect is strategy means to have an absolutely clarity what it is that you're seeking to achieve, and then the clarity of what would be the most effective steps that connect your current state and that desired vision or outcome. Now, it is very important to also be aware which would be the first step that's most effective, because there's sometimes many options and not all of them equally effective. And then also what is the other range of steps that we need to take to arrive where we want to arrive. Now, designing effective strategies, sometimes it's down to just us. We can literally sit down and ask ourselves what would truly bring me there, what is the best path, ask some almost self-coaching questions and explore what would be the most effective, fastest, most empowering way to actually achieve that result. And we can map that way sometimes, but more often it will be really valuable to have insights and input, or from an expert in that field, somebody who can serve as your guide and map that path for you, or from somebody who has achieved similar result before, who can also share with you what they discovered about that path and what were their insights from there, or ideally both. Yet it all starts with that strategy. It all starts with that map, seeing where are we heading and what are the steps there. Without that, it's very likely we'll end up running in circles. It's not very likely we'll actually get to our result, or if we will, it's not very likely that that will be in the most effective way. Ready for aspect number 2? You might be guessing. Aspect number 2 is action, action, action. Taking consistent, powerful, impactful, smart action towards those results. Once we map that path, once we have the strategy, we know what the goal is and what the steps are, nothing remains except putting our energy, effort, and time into actually action and acting on those steps and achieving them one by one. I'm sure you know already, with action, the absolute most important thing is consistency. We get much farther with daily small steps in any area of life than with occasional outbursts of motivated energy and then longer gaps. Again, being it fitness, being it business, being it relationships, being it learning, small daily commitment of steps counts for so much more than spikes of motivation and then gaps in which nothing happens. So for us to achieve action and consistent action, we need 2 or 3 things. One of them is energy. We must maintain our energy to a certain baseline to be able to have enough energy to act on things, which means we have to take good care of our health and well-being and our levels of energy. The second thing is motivation. We need to care about that action. We need to be motivated to do it. We need to know how to self-motivate, how to use our mindset, self-talk, and thinking patterns to get that done. If this is something you struggle with, by the way, mindset course on Happiness Academy might be one for you, where you learn how to talk to yourself better and how to work with your thinking and motivation in a more empowering way. Next to energy and motivation, the third thing that is maybe even the most helpful one is building good habits. While motivation and energy takes us quite far, it is difficult to maintain our motivation and energy daily in everyday life and really keeping an eye on it and always keeping it to a certain level. That is where positive habits come in. When we build habits out of our behaviors and the actions we want to take, then suddenly that consistency happens all on its own. So focus on habits in our actions can be immensely helpful. Are you ready for the third one? Third one is maybe not so much something that we always need and that we need it from the start, but it is something that's a huge deal breaker and breaks our results if we do not have it in the right level. And that is our mindset. By mindset, we think all of our beliefs and thinking habits, beliefs about ourselves, beliefs about our ability to achieve that goal, beliefs about how much do we deserve to achieve that goal, about our personal power, about how likely is it that this really can happen in our life. And what happens with mindset is that it can be a huge deal breaker if we sabotage ourselves through it. So very often if we realize that we are procrastinating on designing that strategy, or if we realize we are not committed to consistent action, that we struggle with our motivation or with our energy, with our consistency, or with working on that goal, yet we care so much about the goal, but we're just not getting it done, very often the answer is in mindset. The question is, what in our thinking patterns, in our beliefs, and in our self-talk is sabotaging us? What is telling us not to act? What is breaking that action? Now, mindset work can be very diverse and very specific, depending what it is that we need to change or achieve for this specific goal. Very often, it will be about work on our beliefs, especially about our beliefs about ourselves and our identity. I'll give you an example. It will be very hard for me to achieve a result of getting really fit if I don't believe that I'm a person who enjoys physical activity. So if I want to get really fit, it's not just about having a good strategy and thinking how to put in consistent action. That will be really difficult, almost impossible, if I don't also work on my mindset, that I actually try in some way appreciating or enjoying engaging in workouts that I designed for myself and in different actions and activities. Similar in business, if I want to start raising my prices and earning more money, then I really have to believe that the value I'm providing is up to that level. And if I don't have that much confidence in myself or in the value that I'm providing, it will be virtually impossible for me to raise prices, business, or to in some way grow what I earn. So again, even though I must have business strategy and actions that I want to do in order to grow my business, I also must work on those beliefs that I'm worthy of that I'm providing enough value, that I'm good enough in that, and so on. These are just a couple of examples, but when we talk about mindset, there are many ways of working with this. Sometimes there is even space for therapy if we need to resolve some more deeply rooted issues related to our identity and confidence. Often this can be only about coaching and working with some of the limiting beliefs and the ways we think about ourselves and our goals and how can we shift that perspective a bit. It can also be by learning new tools for your mindset. That's another thing you can discover and learn on Build Powerful Mindset course at Happiness Academy, one of our amazing courses on which you can discover many science-based tools to work with your thoughts and empowering yourself. And you can also work on your mindset through journaling, through work with affirmations, although that one you need to be very careful with. It's very, very bad advice to just be repeating an affirmation to yourself. Working with affirmations, it's about finding the right kind of thought that is believable to you, yet a little bit also stretching you in a new direction that you can be working with. So please don't take a random affirmation like, I'm great, I'm great, I'm great, and repeat it to yourself. That's not effective. But we can work with this kind of also affirmations, journaling, questions, self-coaching type of tools, many, many ways to work on our mindset, and also on ways to support that identity of a person who can achieve results we are striving to achieve. Got a bit deeper into that one, but I'll stop there and I'll move to the fourth one. The fourth aspect of achieving any result next to strategy, action, and mindset is support. We don't necessarily need support always for every result and in every step on our journey. However, support can help us to reach a certain result and a new outcome faster, more efficient, and support us in times when that's more difficult. When I say support, we can talk about many different things. That can mean literally structured guidance of whatever, course instructor, trainer, coach, coach that can be more like, life business coach or coach in sports and in a specific skill. So it can be somebody who is really kind of a formal person who guides this kind of process. But it can also be support of a peer group, like mastermind style of a group. It can also be a peer support by accountability buddy. It can also be support by your family who is cheerleading for you. It can also be support by your environment that you set up in a place to support you. For example, if you want to eat more healthy, designing your kitchen and house in a way that supports that habit and prevents you from unhealthy habits, and so on. Where support comes in as an important element is in moments when we struggle, in moments when our motivation is a little bit lower, in moments when we are drifting off course a little bit, or in moments when we need external reference for how are we doing. Are we actually progressing on the path where we lose a little bit of that orientation? Where am I right now? So support is not necessarily important on every step of the journey, but it's more like a safety net to help us and support us in a moment when we want to make sure our efforts don't fall through. Now, I would love to ask you to take a moment to think from the 4 things I shared: strategy, action, motivation, and support. Which is one that for you is sometimes a bit of a weak link, which is one that maybe you neglect a bit when designing your own goals and actions, which one is maybe making you slower on the way to your results because you're not leveraging it enough, and to maybe think a bit how to leverage it more. It will help you if you think about this in the context of a specific goal you're currently trying to achieve. However, there is also value in exploring it in general. What is it for you? What is your tendency? Where are you heading? And at Happiness Academy, as you probably know already, on a range of courses that we do, we are always trying to work with all 4 of these. In every course, we first have designed learning strategy and practice strategy for a certain skill that we are working with on that course, such as for well-being, mindset, resilience, flow, or maybe mindfulness. We take that topic and we have a strong learning strategy. I designed it for most of the courses on science-based content and frameworks. So learning strategy of how to best master and learn that skill. And that strategy is embedded in the course design, in the experience design. And then we have range of actions that you take, because most of our courses last between 8 and 12 weeks with a weekly call, so small investment of time over longer period of several months, or an immersive week of learning on getaways, on physical learning experiences. And within this, we have a lot of space to explore actions and to practice things and to remind each other and encourage each other for actions, and to really put these actions into a habit and put them in place. And then, of course, through the small group and also working with me as a trainer, we build the system of support. And through many evidence-based tools from positive psychology, we work on that mindset. But also through many conversations with the rest of the small group, through many sharing of insights, experiences, and perspectives, we also work on that aspect of mindset. So it's not just the 4 things I'm talking about in a podcast about how to achieve better results. It's really 4 things that we also embed in every process at Happiness Academy, and that I strongly believe are the core framework that we can use to achieve better results. Now, back to you. Do take a moment to think. What else, of these things can you leverage for your own goals and your own results? What else is it for you that would be the biggest impact if you would do something about it? And if you think that you should work on your mindset, definitely join us for the mindset course. And if you need help with any of these things, I would love to hear from you. Feel free to comment under this podcast or on Happiness Academy Instagram account. That's a great place to get into the conversation. Share with us, what are you struggling with and what are your thoughts on any of these 4? Thank you for exploring this topic with me. I hope you found some exciting ideas and tools that you will use already today. Remember, they only work if you put them in practice, but then they make all the difference. If you like Happiness Academy podcast, do leave us a rating and a review. It will be really helpful. And if you haven't done it yet, click on the links in the episode description to discover free materials and valuable resources to dive in deeper. See you in the next episode or at the Happiness Academy newsletter.